heard many bizarre trends on the internet, especially when it comes to dating and marriage. Many of those trends have come from the idea of saving marriages or finding ways to make it a healthy marriage. Like the one I recently saw, which is how hotwifing is saving marriages. Hotwifing is a bizarre new trend, but couples swear it is saving their marriages. It's always something bizarre, but it's saving the marriage. It's helping the marriage. And to quickly define that, it is basically the return of cuckolding, rebranded as hotwifing so it sounds cool and different and trendy.
That's weird. That's weird. Kind of weirding me out.
Not even trendy, just weird. But really, to define it, it is men allowing or encouraging their wives to cheat on them with other men in front of them so they can watch. Nothing says saving marriage like encouraging adultery. I truly... They're cucks, okay? That's what a cuck actually is. Got a lot of people cucks in the show that aren't. That is a cuck.
Great. You're a soy boy beta cuck.
I've also seen polyamory discussed openly, what feels like more frequently these days, especially, again, to save marriages or to make a marriage better. But with that particular sect of people, enough time has gone on in the poly movement for people to recognize that those marriages ultimately turn sour. Which, again, shocking. Who would have thought that bringing more people into a marriage complicates it beyond repair? It also obliterates the sanctity of the covenant. The whole episode is, what is the point of being in a marriage when you treat it like this? Because there's also another new bizarre trend that I just saw yesterday. I just learned about it. It is a type of married couple that are calling themselves LAT couple, L-A-T. It stands for living apart together couples.
That doesn't make sense.
AKA apart-ners. Forget a bathroom or bedroom divorce. We apart-ners believe living in separate homes saves our marriage. Why? What even is this? It feels like it creates 10 times more problems than it solves. And one of the immediate questions someone said is, in today's economy? A fair point. But by living apart, they justify it by saying that it does not make them have to sacrifice as much in their own personal wants and desires, while simultaneously requiring tremendous sacrifice to make this work, like paying 2 mortgages or managing 2 households. I mean, the list goes on, but they're saying that they don't have to sacrifice. They're trying to take out the part of marriage, which is sacrifice. And they think that this can achieve that. So they don't have to give up their own desires and their time. Like, even managing 2 households. My brain is trying to rationalize it, and I can't. I don't understand. One of the therapists in the article said, you're managing 2 households, 2 electric bills, and so on. Couples may have to make major adjustments and sacrifices for this lifestyle. It's about collaborating to put together the puzzle for a strong, passionate relationship without having to give up a way of life you've treasured. So without having to sacrifice a certain part of your lifestyle, you're then sacrificing in other parts of your life.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, but gotta stand by it. Whatever you say, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
This is some therapist trying to push their weird...
Trying to, like, justify... That's what a lot of it just feels like. It's people trying to justify something that doesn't make sense, but they're trying to be like, no, this is totally normal. This is totally healthy.
This therapist is just sitting there like, you know how I can get more people into my appointment chair?
Let me create this thing called LAT couples, and I'm going to be the only one that knows all about them, so I'm going to teach you all. I mean, literally, that's how a lot of these things read. A passionate relationship without having to give up a way of life that you've treasured. It's the fact that that life that you treasured is not with your spouse that is bizarre to me. Like, why did you get married if being partnered, coupled with that person is holding you back from the life that you've always treasured? Then, like, that's not the right person? Can you not be an individual with personal pursuits and passions and still live together as a family unit? You can. The answer is yes, you can. That's why I don't understand why that's the justification for this move. Sure, there are things about a marriage that you have to sacrifice. That is part of the challenge of marriage, but it is also part of the beauty in a commitment like marriage. A lot of this, they're talking about sacrifice and wanting to live their own separate lives. They don't have to sacrifice certain things. It just sounds selfish. I hear all this and it just felt that they care more about selfish ambitions than shared desires and goals, shared things that they could work together to achieve certain things. I mean, that's part of the beauty of a marriage. And that's what is being just completely taken away with this. Why be married? Even financially, it's not even like, some people just get married because like, it's, you know, then rather than just being a couple together forever, you know, which some people don't want to get married, that's fine. But then in this case, it's like, why get married? You're not actually saving money even. Like, you're still living 2 completely separate lives. I don't understand it. Is it even a marriage? Here is one woman who is currently living that lifestyle with her husband. She said that she's always wanted this lifestyle. And so when she got married, she told her husband and he like had to be cool with it.
So here's something you don't hear every day. My husband and I are spending a year living apart while still being happily married.
Now, just to note, she says a year here. That's not the norm for a lot of these. Like some people it can be forever. It can be for a couple months to try it and then they do forever. Like it's not like a short-term thing necessarily. That's not how it's being sold to people.
About any problems or growing apart. It's about growth, period. It's about love evolving and giving each other the space to become the best version of ourselves and knowing that connection doesn't always look just one way. And it's been proof that love can thrive in unconventional ways.
Why can't becoming the best version of yourself involve a life with your husband? Why is that two separate things? The whole point of marriage is you converge, you come together, and you make each other better. Because yes, marriage looks different for different people. You know, some people are forced to live apart, military families, families with jobs that have to travel around the country, but it's not ideal. It's not what people want. That's why this particular phenomenon is so bizarre to me. They're trying to idolize this. They're trying to make this like the cool thing to do, a good thing to do for your marriage. And you can't convince me of that. Let's keep going, though.
This season has been a gift as I'm a 38-year-old woman just trying to figure out life. And I've learned that building a home isn't just about decorating. It's about creating a space that loves you back. But this isn't just about my marriage, right? It's about in navigating my 30s with intention.
Your 30s with intention? Why without your husband? You're an adult. You're a grown woman. Any thoughts about that comment?
I just can't wrap my mind around the idea of wanting to be away from your husband. Like if you love
while being
this,
happily married. Right.
yeah,
Right.
like
That it's hard to fathom that then you're happily married.
I don't understand that. I don't understand why you wouldn't feel sad without your husband because you married them because you want to be with them every single day.
For protection too, like there's so many elements of being in a space with that person. And if it's that bad or if you can't thrive on your own, work through your marriage, because then there are marital problems with that. There are things that need to be worked together to fix because clearly there's a problem there. You shouldn't have to live in a new home to be able to be your truest self. That just sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It actually inspired a new series that I'm doing called Layers of Home, which is a series where I'm going to be peeling back the layers of my life and home to hopefully help you do the same.
Yes,
and
please
this is
teach
more
us.
than just me sharing my space. It's about helping you to create a home and a life that truly loves you back, one intentional choice at a time. So let's start peeling back the layers, shall we?
Marriages were not built for this kind of setup. And our bodies were certainly not built to handle the constant stress, ultra-processed foods, and environmental toxins that we face every single day. And that is why I'm excited to tell you about Armor Colostrum. It's basically nature's original superfood. It contains over 400 bioactive nutrients that work together to support your gut health, strengthen your immune system, help with your hair growth, and boost your energy at the cellular level. So while we might not all agree in the latest wellness trends or marriage lifestyle trends, feeling healthy and energetic is something that we all want. And Armor helps your body thrive in our modern world no matter what chaos is happening around you. Because wanting to feel your best is one thing that should never be controversial. Most probiotics only target one part of your gut and arrive dead anyways. But with Armor Colostrum, it works differently, supporting your entire gut wall system, balancing your microbiome, and strengthening barriers against irritants that cause bloating. I absolutely love the taste of Armor. Even my husband loves the taste of Armor because I too love to make sure that he's good and healthy. And I do that by also providing him with Armor. And we have worked out a special offer for my audience. So if you want to try Armor yourself, you can get 15% off your first order. All you have to do is go to tryarmor.com/Conrad or enter code Conrad at checkout to get that 15% off. That's tryarmor.com/Conrad today. It's a lot of women that I've noticed that are doing this predominantly. And it just makes me feel like women being like, okay, I'm going to be my true self. I'm going to live intentionally. What's the first thing that annoys me? Oh, living with my husband. I'm going to remove him from my life, my physical life, because like it's better for me and being my truest self and me. I mean, it just feels so selfish. And it's not like, how does that work for you as a unit? Because the second you get married, you're one.
I think you're right in the sense of like there must be marital problems because why do you feel your husband is this burden that you need to basically get rid of out of your house in order to be happy?
In order to be happy. In order to like light your candles and have your nice little fun afternoon. Kick your husband out of the house and go make him play golf for an hour so that you can have your me time. If you don't move houses. Like
I have an idea.
Really? What is it?
Let's leave.
some of these people who are starting to do this are making coaching classes and like teaching others. That's why this is so funny to me. It's like, here's something that we have no idea if this is going to even work long term or if this is good for us, but we're trying it. It feels nice. It feels good. I'm going to teach everyone else how to do it. Even though you clearly probably have some sort of marital problem that you need to work out. but you're going to teach us all.
Go back to her profile. You have to see one of the videos I just saw. It's Friday, 9 p.m. skincare, not a man in sight.
See, you cannot tell me this is good for marriage long term. I will not be convinced. Because even that, it breaks my heart. Fresh sheets that, your husband's not in. You're not getting to cozy up and love on your husband. Watching a show, there's a new show with 6 seasons, not a man in sight. So you're just going to cozy up alone without your husband and not bond even through watching shows. Is it both parties want this, or one wants this certain thing and they just have to justify it to their spouse to make it a good thing? Because that's how it always feels. One person commented and said, "May this love never find me." That's how I feel. But someone else said, "My dream, because I love and I still want my own space." And then the creator responded and said, "Same, a separate room in the house just wasn't enough for me." Come on. There are less permanent solutions than this. That's why I'm just like, why did you get married? Why that term? Why that commitment? Why that covenant?
I could have put a shed in the backyard.
Yeah.
And you could have stayed in there.
A man cave?
Yeah, there's solutions for all. You're exactly right. Man cave. There are already solutions for this that have been figured out.
Right. And this isn't some revolutionary idea that I need my own space. Of course you do. Especially people living in small apartments. I don't know what their living setups are for people who live like this. But yes, especially those confined spaces. That's tough. But the solution is just not to go get another confined space. Here's another one that I saw that was a queer therapist is her handle, and she's giving some advice to those who want to live the lat lifestyle.
If you and a partner have moved in together and upon further reflection are like, you know what, we liked it better before, there is nothing wrong with that. And these folks say that living apart honors their individuality, honors their independence, and actually leads them to fantasize more about their relationship, experience more passion in their relationship. Living together isn't better than living apart. It's all about what works well for y'all.
I hate her voice.
Why? It wasn't very therapeutic for you?
They all talk the same. They're like cult leaders. They all talk the same exact way.
If you frame it in a certain way, you can make anything sound nice and good and positive, She mentioned how there's a long history of couples that have done this so successfully. I'm going to get to that in a moment because there is a history of some that I wanted to highlight that the article also pointed out. But before we get to that part, one person said, "Ugh, my own husband will not even consider this. I want my own place so bad." The New York Post article went on to describe this a bit further and said, "The unconventional arrangement grants autonomy to live life on their own terms without feeling smothered by their significant other." It doesn't mean we're divorcing, we're seeing other people, or we don't love each other. Lauren, a government employee and lat influencer, says, "Living apart helps us grow as individuals and as a couple."
You sure about that? You sure about that?
I know people in my own life who work and have to travel for a living, so they're away from home a lot, especially those in the military who have to do this situation, even though I would not call those people a lat couple. This is a strategic type of relationship move, and that is just life working the way that it is, where you have to do certain things differently, which is fine. It doesn't make them not married or not in a healthy relationship, but going out of your way to cultivate that setup makes no sense. But one relationship coach justified it by saying that distance makes the heart grow fonder. Well, you don't sound that fond of each other in the first place if you're doing this. But here is the list of some of the very powerful couples who have done this successfully. The article said, lat A-listers such as Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, and Gwyneth Paltrow and Brad Fulchek have sworn by this setup. The second that I heard Will Smith and Jada Smith mentioned, they seem like the most miserable, unhappy, cheating couple I've ever heard. I mean, they literally, Jada has cheated on him. I think they even at one point had an open relationship, or they still do, but they're also it's totally healthy and totally normal and this is totally fine. It's clearly not. It also went on and said, Cheryl Lee Ralph and her hubby of 20 years live on opposite coasts. But the Abbott Elementary star said visiting each other every 2 weeks for the past 2 decades has worked like a charm. I'm sorry, but that is not a marriage. Not in the way that it should be. That's just heartbreaking to me, frankly. The biggest part of all of this that just kept coming up when I was thinking about and seeing this situation being discussed is the kids. What happens to the kids in these families? It just feels like at every turn there are attempts to reconfigure the family unit and then justify it as if it is totally normal. And while 2 grown adults can do whatever they want, my concern is really how this impacts children and just the view of marriage as a whole. There is so much beauty in a healthy marriage in one household. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that this is not a sign of a healthy marriage long-term, and no one can convince me otherwise. Especially not Jada and Will Smith, or any of the lat influencers on social media. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. And last but not least, if you want more content, you can also follow me on my personal accounts, as well as our new comment section Instagram. See you guys in the comments.